From being a student of Manipal Institute of Technology to being the director of the same institution, GK Prabhu has come a very long way in a very short span of time. There is no need to go personally and meet this man, as he can be seen taking rounds all around the campus to ensure all things are in perfect order. You can ask about his zeal for perfection and proper workflow from his subordinates and juniors.
It's one of the reasons I strongly feel the MIT is scaling up the ladder, going up to a much higher level than what it was.
Done to MIT in such a short period of time is unfathomable by any standards.
That's why we call him Big B. Big B is not Big Boss, it is Big Brother.
It is not an easy task to run an institution of 10,000 plus students, but this task is being done extremely gracefully. GK Prabhu is very close with students. In fact, he is known to go to each and every class to interact with students to know more about their problems and future development in infrastructure or administration. He is often very involved in his work and yet is able to take out time for family and friends. He is, as they say, the man with a plan. GK Prabhu was born on October 29, 1966 in a rural family to Mr. Surendra Prabhu and Mrs. Shobha Prabhu in Karkala, a place which is well known for its temples and scenic beauty. Mr. Surendra Prabhu was a taxi driver who used to take young GK Prabhu with him when he used to drive. His close observation of his father's driving gave him the ability to drive easily by the time he was in the 4th standard.
ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರಿನ ವಿಷಯ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಇದಾಗಿದೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಸೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಡ್ರೈವಿಂಗ್ ಸಹ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸಮಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ
ಬೇಗ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ ಪಾಪ ಹುಡುಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಷ್ಟು ಪಾಪ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಇನ್ನು ಸಿಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ ಹೇಳಿದ ನಾನು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದೆ ಕಾರ್ ನಾನೇ ಬಿಟ್ಟಪ್ಪ
ಜೋರು ಮಾಡಿ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಸಹ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅವನಿಗೆ.
His father, who is very dear to us, Mr. Surendra Prabhu, when I know him, he is a very simple taxi driver, but very, very committed to his job. One should learn what is the dignity of whatever work you do and the discipline from Mr. Surendra Prabhu, who is GK Prabhu's father.
GK Prabhu was extremely humble. He was an active volunteer for Sri Venkatrama Temple, Karkala for more than 10 years. He used to help people, so much that people said God in turn helped him, blessed him and made him the man he is today.
Mr. GK Prabhu, he is from a respectable, well-known Prabhu family from Karkala. He is a nice gentleman. I knew him from nearly his childhood, very young age. His noble father and mother are close friends to our family members. He is a hard worker, a great volunteer to Sri Venkatrama Temple, Tirupati, Karkala. At his teenage, he served for nearly 10-15 years as a volunteer. God blessed him. He says God can do the miracles. He is a person with simplicity, integrity and honesty. He is dedicated also for the social service organization for the needy people.
Due to his active involvement with the Sri Venkatrama Temple, GK Prabhu's father suggested that he should learn the tabla as well, so that he can perform in the temple for God and his devotees. He found his father's idea interesting and decided to take up the instrument.
Came to know that he plays tabla. Probably in the 10th itself, we came to know that he plays tabla, and I like music, even though I didn't learn it at all. but that took the respect for him one notch higher. And he played for some concert, probably in the temple or something. So I vaguely remember him accompanying a vocalist for some concert, and I recall telling my other friends, he's my classmate, the one who is playing tabla is my classmate. So that kind of exhilarated, enthusiastic affiliation that we had.
An immense pleasure to welcome each one of you to this.
GK Prabhu is an incredible orator. He is often seen interacting with different people with absolute ease, but this hasn't been the case all along. He was actually a really very shy kid.
ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬ ಆವಾಗ ಕಿವಿಗೆ ಇದಿತ್ತು, ಟಿಕ್ಕಿತ್ತು,
ಹೌದು.
ಟೈಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅವ ಕರೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ನೀ ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡೋದ ನೀನು ಅಂತ, ಅವ ಟೈಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ, ಲೂಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ
ಮನೆಗೆ ಬರುವಾಗ ಕಿವಿದಿಲ್ಲ, ಕಿವಿದ್ದು ಎಂತ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಯಾರು ಅದು ಟೈಟ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನಂತ ಓಣಿಗೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದ್ರು ಅಂತ. ಅದ ನಂತರ ನೀನು ನೋಡ್ಲಿಲ್ವಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ, ಮನೆಗೆ 4 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಬಂದ ನಂತರ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದೆ, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ದೇವ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಟಿಕ್ಕಿ. ಆಗ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸಹ ಪಾಪ, ಅಷ್ಟು ಸಹ ಪಾಪ.
ಎಲ್ಲರ ಮೇಲೂ ಒಂದು ವಿಶ್ವಾಸ
ಆಗ್ತಾನಂತ ನಾನು ಎಣಿಸ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಮಾತ್ರ. ಈಗ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ನನಗೆ.
GK Prabhu's primary schooling was done from SVT Higher Primary School, Karkala, and secondary schooling from Shri Bhuhendra High School, Karkala. He was an avid mathematics learner, and this love for mathematics was often seen in his performance reports.
He is one of the toppers in the class, and he used to love maths very much. That's the one point. I being a maths teacher to him for 3 years, I liked him very much. And whenever he felt a little difficulty here and there somewhere, hesitantly he used to come to me and clear the doubts and go back.
After his 10th grade, GK Prabhu decided to take up commerce in Shri Bhuvendra College due to his inability to pay for science courses. But God wanted him to do something else with his life.
ಅವರೇ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ ಆಗ ಭಾಳ ನಮ್ಮ ಭುವನೇಂದ್ರ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನ ಮೊದಲಿನ ಪ್ರಾಂಶುಪಾಲರು ಭಾಳ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯವರು, ಭಾಳ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಕೂಡ. ಅವರನ್ನೇ ಬಂದು ಕಾಮರ್ಸಿಗೆ ಅಂತ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಈ ಹುಡುಗ. ಮೇಲೆ ಕೆಳಗೆ ನೋಡಿದಂಥ ಇವರು, ನೋ, ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಗಿವ್ ಯು ಸೀಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕಾಮರ್ಸ್, ಇಫ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ಸೀಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಂತೆ. ಆಗ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಇದೇ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಬೇರೆ ದಾರಿ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಾಲರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅವರ ಮೇಲೆ ಗೌರವದಿಂದ, ಹಿರಿಯವರನ್ನು ನಿರಾಶೆ ಪಡಿಸಬಾರ್ದು ಎಂಬಂಥ ಭಾವನೆಯಿಂದ he opted for science.
Due to the language barrier he faced in the classroom, he was often unable to express his knowledge to the other students and his teachers. His teachers thought he was not able to grasp the concepts easily, but the reality was very different.
ಸೈನ್ಸಿಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಆ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ GK ಪ್ರಭು, ಗೋಪಾಲಕೃಷ್ಣ ಪ್ರಭು ಅವರು, he came from ಕನ್ನಡ ಮೀಡಿಯಂ. ಸೈನ್ಸಿಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಒಂದು ವಾರದ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಲೋಕಲ್ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೊಡನೆ ಒಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲೇ ಅವರಿದ್ದರು. ಅಟ್ ದಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಒನ್ ಮಲೇಷಿಯನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ದೇ ವರ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಫುಲ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ 70 or 75, ಈವನ್ 80. ಆಚೆ GK ಪ್ರಭು ಇದ್ದಂಥ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಒಂದೇ ಸರಿಸಮಾನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕೆಂಬ ಉದ್ದೇಶದಿಂದ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಾಲರು ಒಂದು 4 ಜನ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದು ಮಲೇಷಿಯನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ಗೆ ಹಾಕಿದರು. ಹಿ ಕೇಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಅವರೇ ಹೇಳುವ ಹಾಗೆ ಏನಂದರೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅಧ್ಯಾಪಕರು ಒಂದು ಎರಡು ಶಬ್ದವನ್ನಾದರೂ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಈ ಮಲೇಷಿಯನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ನೋ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಓಪನ್ ದೇರ್ ಮೌತ್ ಇನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ, ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಇನ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್. ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಹಿಮ್. 1 or 2 days he sat in the class. 3rd day or so, evening, one fine evening, he came to principal's chamber with much fear. And so Professor Kinney must have asked in question in Konkani. He said, I can't sit in Malaysian's batch, sir. I want to have it changed. That he must have told in Kannada or in Konkani. What's the reason, he asked. He said, ಆಚೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಾದರೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆದರೂ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ನನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ದೇರ್ ಮೌತ್ ಇನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ. ಸೊ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ know English at all. I find it's very difficult, he said. The Kinney or the principal, the immediate reply, is it so? you have to stay in that batch only. You will learn English faster and better. See.
After his 12th examinations, GK Prabhu decided to pursue B.Tech in Bapuji Institute of Engineering and Technology. Just like he was in school, an outstanding student, he managed to display excellence in engineering. He was supposed to receive a Medal of Honor for his outstanding performance after his 4th year examinations. Instead, GK Prabhu was detained in one lab exam. Shaken, heartbroken and devastated to get this result, he confined himself to his room after that, sat in a corner and thought about his next steps in life. It was a very crucial time for him. He had even the thought of ending his life and getting free from the guilt that he had. But the thought of his parents' condition after his suicide kept him going. It gave him a new will to live, a new goal to undo what was done, a new hope to make everything right. He gathered all the scattered pieces of his life to set out and fight again. The only problem now was his financial condition. The solution his college provided was to teach the lower semester classes while continuing his own studies. He thought about it for a while and finally decided to go ahead with this plan, but on one note. He will be telling his story to the class he will be teaching, and if they are ready to be taught by a professor who failed his last 2 exams, he will continue with the proposed plan. God's and his parents' blessings were with him all the time. The whole class agreed to this arrangement, and this embarks the starting of GK Prabhu's teaching career. After this incident, GK Prabhu came to his home ground, Manipal. He joined the ENC department in MIT and started afresh. The choice of his subjects was strange. He picked the most difficult subject of ENC, which is electromagnetic waves.
He taught us a very difficult subject, very theoretical and mathematical subject it was, known as electromagnetic waves. If you ask him, he will tell that he did not teach it well. He has made this reference in several of his talks that it was one of his earliest subjects, and very beginning in his teaching career. I have heard him tell it more than once that he was so nervous in taking that particular subject. He went to a very senior professor, Sir S.J. and explained himself that I don't know how to handle this subject, it is so difficult. Even then, for us, the way he taught it made it very, I wouldn't say easy, but we had a definite approach.
Being the perfectionist GK Prabhu is, his handwriting is no different. Some describe it as beautiful as the stars in a clear night, as clean as the water from the glaciers.
I met Dr. GK Prabhu in the year 2000 when I joined this institution. The way how we used to interact is just to exchange a smile. When I used to enter a class, he was always coming out of the same class. We used to share the classrooms. And he used to handle the classes for M.Tech, and I used to handle master's courses for my subjects. The one thing what I noticed in this gentleman is every day he used to give a smile. Being a junior faculty, I used to receive a nice smile from a senior faculty, which was encouraging me to enter the class. But as soon as I entered the class, every day I have to notice one thing, that is the blackboard what he has used is a fantastic way of using the blackboard. He used all multicolor chalk pieces, his handwriting is unique, and I feel really uncomfortable to rub that so that I can start my teaching. But I have to do that, I have to rub and I have to continue. But this happened for the whole semester, and as a junior faculty, I was thinking that at least I have to copy the style what GK Prabhu is doing. Unfortunately, I am not successful till today. That's a uniqueness. And even till today, Dr. GKP has the same handwriting, same discipline, what I have noticed.
As a student, I still distinctly remember the way he used to write on the blackboard. It used to be like print. And the notes that he used to make for himself was made available to students also, and we used to refer it more than referring the textbook. And it is so neat and systematic that anybody who is using that will feel they have to read it. So that itself is sort of a motivating factor for a student to learn. Whatever he does, very clean, very neat, and very explicit.
GK Prabhu was now established as a professor. His students loved the way he taught. His colleagues were very fond of him, and this was the time GK's parents decided to change his marital status from single to married. This segment of his life was a movie in itself, comical yet romantic.
Actually, at that time, I thought he'll make somebody very happy in his life. Whoever marries him, she'll be very lucky. But it never occurred to me that it will be me. So it was actually arranged marriage, because once he finished his graduation, he sent the proposal through my brother to my father. So it was like arranged marriage.
ಅವರು ಕಾರ್ಕಳದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಹೆಂಡತಿಯ ಅಕ್ಕನ ಮನೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ರು, ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ರು. ನಮ್ಮ ಮದುವೆ ಮಗಳು ಮಾಲಿನಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದರು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಮಯ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಮಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಮತ್ತು ನಾವು ಮಾಲಿನಿಗೆ ಗಂಡನ ಹುಡುಕುವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ವೈಫ್ನ ಅಕ್ಕನವರು ಸಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಹುಡುಗ ನೀವು. ನಾವು ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಚ್ಚಿ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ವಿತ್ ಲಿಟ್ಲ್ ಮೋರ್ ಲಕ್, ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಿಲ್ place a person in the highest position. That is my personal experience. Luck is required. Luck means by way of support from the management and God's grace. So ನಾವು ಎಣಿಸಿದಾಗೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. It was not a surprise at all. For me it is not surprise.
ಏನಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ನನ್ನ ಅಕ್ಕ ಹೇಳಿದರು, ಹಗಲು ರಾತ್ರಿ ಅವ್ರು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು. ಸರಿ, ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ವಿಶ್ವಾಸಾರ್ಹವಾದ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗಿಯೂ ಅವರು ಯೋಗ್ಯ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿನೇ ಅನ್ನೋದೊಂದು ವಿಶ್ವಾಸ. ಮತ್ತು ನಾನು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಹಣ ಅಂತಸ್ತು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಾನು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಹುಡುಗ ಇದ್ದ ಪ್ಲೇಸಿಂದ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಯತ್ತ ಹೋಗುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಅಂತಃಶಕ್ತಿ ಹಾಗೂ ಅಂಥ ಅಪೇಕ್ಷೆ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಎರಡು ನಾನು ಮೊದಲಿಂದ ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳಲ್ಲೂ ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಿರೀಕ್ಷಿಸಿದ್ದೆ. ನಾವು ಕೊಡೋದು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ, ಬಟ್ ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಆ ಅಪೇಕ್ಷೆ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತು ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅವ್ರು ಪ್ರಾಮಾಣಿಕ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದೆರಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಅಕ್ಕ ತುಂಬ ಆತ್ಮೀಯವಾಗಿ ಹಾಗೂ ತುಂಬ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಳಿಯನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗೌರವದಿಂದ ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ದೃಷ್ಟಿ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಪೂರ್ತಿ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸವಾಗಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ನಾನು ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
His thirst for knowledge, however, didn't end even after his marriage. GK Prabhu did his M.Tech degree in Biomedical Engineering from MIT Manipal with a first rank from Mangalore University in 1994 and his PhD from IIT Madras in 2001. GK has served the institute in various capacities such as Head of the Department of Biomedical Engineering, Associate Director Research and Development at MIT, Deputy Registrar Technical and Registrar Manipal University.
And I always used to say, which is a fact, there is no exaggeration, that he is one of the best registrars that I have worked with so far, because I have worked under 2-3 registrars, because he is very, very hard working. And the good quality of him is a very organized person. And what I like most about him is, see, he has come from a very poor background. See, most of us, people who come from a very poor background, like our Prime Minister, President Narendra Modi, always say, I was selling tea and other things and I have come from a very poor family. But many people, once they become rich or something attain some status in the society, they refuse, they forget their roots. And also some people say it is not right to tell me that I am from a poor background. See, that quality doesn't. He always used to say my father was a taxi driver. That speaks in high volumes about a person. And as I said, he is a very organized person, and his administrative skills are excellent, because as a registrar, you have to do tightrope walking many times, and you have to be nice with the students, even if they are indifferent, and many times the parents are very unreasonable, shout. But since they are our customers and our parents, you have to treat them nicely, do not lose your composure, and then talk to them nicely, which he has been doing in an exemplary fashion. That's why I used to say, He was one of the best registrars and he was very hardworking. I never seen him go home before 7, 8 or sometimes even 9 o'clock in the evening. Because registrars is the most tough work in a university. He is the live wire of the university. Any registrar of a university, because all correspondences have to be done by the registrar.
Being the registrar was a relief, and above all it was a boon for me when I was the Vice Chancellor. And we had an excellent equation and we were able to resolve so many things together. And most of all, it was his willingness to understand the situation. He commits his time, his energy and his focus on job, and he's able to achieve it. Sometimes I wonder, does he have so much time to do all these things? And he does it with so much of patience, and it is done with so much of accuracy and perfection that you wonder whether it is possible for you to do all this in the midst of all that is happening in the office of the registrar. So that way, and I'm delighted that Dr. GK Prabhu is taking over as the president of Manipal University Jaipur, because he has occupied virtually every position in the academic ladder, and he has seen it from the other side. Generally, administrators, when they are in the chair of an administrator, they often are unable to see the viewpoint of those who are under them. In the case of GK Prabhu, he has actually traveled and traversed every step of the academic ladder, and he has known what it is to be in different levels and also understand the problems. And therefore I believe that Dr. GK Prabhu, with his experience plus his approach and attitude, is the fitting person to take up this mantle of the president of Manipal University Jaipur.
At Jaipur, we didn't expect, we never thought we'll go outside Manipal, but this is a nice golden opportunity to get to know new people, new environment, new management. So in that way, one thing about my husband is that he gets bored with the routine work. So every 3 years he'll be happy to have a new challenges. Even MIT, if it becomes routine, he'll be bored. So I think it has given a nice opportunity, new set of challenges, new set of problems. That is there. He gets bored about routine things. So I think he'll enjoy his 3 years there.
Being from a poor family background, Registrar Prabhu knows the hardships one has to face when they're having financial troubles. His aim is to make sure no one goes through what he had gone through as a child. Due to his efforts, Registrar Prabhu was able to inculcate some schemes to make the lives of people easy who are financially weak.
His interest in visiting schools to talk about career guidance, because see, there are a lot of courses in Manipal University which our local persons do not know. In fact, I have been a co-speaker with him in many such programs. What I noticed is nobody else would do all these things. He tried to bring about awareness about physiotherapy, occupational therapy, respiratory therapy. See, even I myself as a doctor, I was not aware. Let me tell you. He made the university to change the rule or the norms, for instance, Medicare facilities. He changed the norms so that the parents-in-law of non-teaching staff will be benefited. See, it is just you give an idea to him or tell something to him, he analyzes vertically, laterally. Then the person who goes to him, explains the problem or something like that, he will ask that person only bring an answer. It should not be only problems. We have to take answers also. So based on that, he tactfully takes the case to university.
Being a teacher prior to the registrar, GK Prabhu loved the student-teacher interaction that he had. This was also a prime reason that he was hesitant to take up the registrar position. With this, we reached the turning point of his life. The time we are talking about is 2016, when Registrar Prabhu was offered the post of the director of the institution, which gave him a new life, a new canvas to start afresh.
As a director, the role demands that he engage with the students, he look at their welfare, he look at faculty, he look at the agenda to be driven from the university through the faculty like research. So he is there at the thick of things at an institutional level. So it's a one level down in terms of the scope of activities, but several levels up in terms of being directly involved with stakeholders. So therefore, we wanted Dr. GK Prabhu to go through this experience of engaging with a very vibrant student body like in MIT and to make a difference. I'm glad we took that choice. I'm glad GK also accepted that assignment. He could have easily told, no, I don't want to do it. I have been a registrar and I don't want to become a director. So, but I think without even any sense of convincing, he took it up very gladly and he delivered it in an exemplary manner. So we're very proud of what he has done in MIT in these last 2 years. So if you ask me, what difference has he made in MIT? So a director is a director is a director. But if you look at the things that have happened, Facebook and Twitters and other things that students and today's generation want to do, he's there. I don't evaluate him on how many followers he has on his Facebook account. That is not his KRA. We measure him by what he has done in terms of research output, external grants, and improving the visibility of MIT in taking up the academics of MIT to a different. You look at in every field he has made a major difference. So the research output today has doubled over last year. The external grants in MIT for the first time have exceeded the external grants of KMC Manipal. If you're talking about the academics, he has brought in Coursera, he has brought in 20% online, he has facilitated internationalization and carrying of credits across universities, making it easy for MIT students to pursue a semester with the partner university and come back and continue their studies. So in every field he has made a difference and in such a short period of time.
Yeah, I was one of them to congratulate him when I heard that he has been made the registrar. ಹಾಗೆ ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಸಂತೋಷಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದರು, ಸರ್ ಐ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಯುವರ್ ಬ್ಲೆಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ದೆನ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ. ಹಾಗೆ ಆದರು. ಮತ್ತು ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ ಐ ಹರ್ಡ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂಸ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ MIT ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ ಅಂತ. ನಾನು ಕೇಳಿದೆ, ನನಗೆ ನನ್ನ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು, ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ವದು ಇದು ಅಂತ. ಅಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅದು ಸರಿಯೇ, ಬಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಇದೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನನಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಮಣಿಪಾಲದವರು ಏನೋ ನನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಗುರುತಿಸಿರಬೇಕು, ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮೀ ಅಂತ, ಆ ರೀತಿ ಏನೋ ಇರಬಹುದು ಅಂತ.
Assuming the post of director, GK Prabhu made sure everything is in perfect order. In order for that to happen, he had to cater to each and every need of the institution as fast as possible. This often resulted him in having a very, very hectic schedule.
Morning till evening, he used to attend meetings. We know, because he used to call the meeting. Every time when you see him, he is always fresh. He always used to say, Control Alt Delete. Whatever the last meeting is over, Control Alt Delete is over. Now the next. He is always energetic. That is the greatest strength of GK Prabhu.
So what I don't like in him is he doesn't rest at all. I'm telling you, I can clearly give an estimate that he must have been working at least 18 hours each day, thinking about MIT, what are my tomorrow's work, what are the new ventures I should get into, how to elevate MIT to the next level. At least 18 hours each day he must have worked. Okay, this is what it's very clear. In fact, I'm not exaggerating things, but I have personally witnessed this. You see, NBA assessment was taking place for accreditation, and they were operating in a room in our innovation center, top floor. There is a conference room, so the entire team was operating there. I had seen Dr. GKP shift his entire office just with one table, one laptop and some files. He had shifted his table to the next small room, forgetting that he is director. He was working on his day-to-day work in the neighboring room of NBA committee, which was working, so that when they want it, immediately he could rush to them and provide assistance when required. He was working on a simple table and a laptop, and he had practically shifted his office to the neighborhood of that particular office. I have seen it.
An educational institution functions well if there's a cooperation between teachers and students. GK Prabhu understood this very well. So to bridge the gap between the director and a student, he made himself easily accessible to every student. He started various schemes to make sure the student sees him as a friend and not as some administrative official.
Being with the students, I enjoyed a lot. Their club activities, the way they achieve things, their confidence level, it is amazing. That is something I really miss when we both live. Even he'll miss, because once he becomes a VC, he won't have contact with the students. So I think MIT is the last stage of his life where he can have a direct dealing with the students. After a certain position, there won't be direct contact with the students. So that is something he'll really miss. That is one of the reasons why he was hesitant to take up registrar post also, because he won't have a direct touch with the students. But these 2 years, we both enjoyed. So that is something we really miss.
Is like the responsibility of a father towards his children. Now there is nothing called a good father. A father can't be always goody-goody to his children. Okay, when they are doing something wrong, the father will have to have the courage to say that, look, my kid, this is not acceptable. And I remember this statement which my father had told me. He had told me when I was a youngster, look, my son, by the time you realize what your dad was telling is correct, you will already have a son who disproves whatever you say. So there is nothing like good father, but there is always a responsible father, and Dr. GKP had taken responsibility about the students in the campus. To be very precise, safety of students inside the campus was his top priority. We keep listening to about the incidents which take place in the campus, and we used to tell him that, look sir, if you take the percentage, this percentage of say fatal injuries or such things are very minimal. He used to instantly stop us and say, you should know where not to use percentages. Percentage is nonsense to me. For me, every single soul in this campus is important, so don't give me percentages when you are talking in terms of student safety. So student safety was his top priority. He loved his students as his own children, and he was taking that responsibility.
Contacting a senior official is difficult, even more tiresome when he's the director of a really big and prestigious institution. GK Prabhu, however, made sure he's easily accessible to each and every student of his institution.
He didn't know the pulse of what is happening in the university or this college. So the first thing I told him was, the Facebook is the it of the society right now. So if you want to know the pulse of what is happening in MIT, that's a great way to know, because people publicize their life on Facebook. So he slowly joined Facebook, and then he started getting followers like a lot, and then Facebook started dying down. I told him, why don't you join Instagram? So, and then he joined Instagram. Simultaneously, on the other hand, he became an active member of Twitter. So he used to understand the exact thing what was happening in the student council or the student group. So that was one plus point of joining social media.
More than a director, GKP was like a father or a guardian to them. He established a communication channel between him and them. It could be talking to them before any new rule or a guidelines are brought in, or it could be listening to their inner voice through the social media. So all he was doing for the sake of students.
Students are the most important entity of any educational institution. Director Prabhu knows this very well. Whenever one of his students had an outstanding achievement, he made sure to congratulate them personally.
Tea with the director was an informal meet, where student achievers not only in academics, maybe in sports or maybe any other drama or theatre, whatever, any field that any student comes up with any accolade for himself, it was an opportunity for him or her to come and meet the director in a group. It used to be a large group of say 50 to 100 students in every meeting who were achievers in their own field, not only academics but outside the classrooms also. So it used to be a very, very, very enjoyable feel for every person who participated, because people who are not very good at academics also would get a boost of confidence, because there are people having all kinds of abilities, all kinds of talents, which may not exactly get reflected in the CGPA that they get. People who are not feeling very low because they are not doing academically, also got some recognition, and that would give a lot of positive vibes in the campus.
We all know that GK Prabhu is an engineer himself. He knows how important industrial training is for an engineer, how it is important for him to get the practicality of the field.
Specifically with regard to Industry Connect, sir has always emphasized on strengthening the industry institute relations, where he wanted the good number of corporates who could not only benefit the students via placements and internship opportunities, but also help the departments via the lab developments or setups, and also opportunities for creating opportunities for the department faculties to go into the industry for sabbaticals. So that has been, it has been very encouraging for all of us to connect with the industry or look for opportunities as to how the industry institute experience can be further strengthened.
A trust should always be established and present between a senior and a junior, as well as between two colleagues. This trust is needed for the functioning of an organization properly. GK Prabhu has always trusted the ones working with him.
Prabhu sir is also a person who delegates work. Once he delegates the work, he never interferes in the way how you work. After delegating, he has a periodic review meeting. That's the only time when he asks what is the progress and what is going on. And I have never seen him interfering in between and asking what is the progress, because that's the trust he has in his subordinates, and that's how he grooms the upcoming leaders.
To complete the given job, I have seen it. I learned from him that whenever you get a job, you have to complete it in a given time and given that schedule. It's way of execution of any job, whether it is academic or any projects related to infrastructure development.
A student can get to know more about his campus easily as he's there all his college life. But what about the parents who visit once a year or maybe less? To make sure everyone has an insight on the campus, GK Prabhu along with Professor Balakrishna Prabhu came up with a really brilliant plan.
Walk with director really helped it. Just because two parents became friends, it's not that two students became anyhow, they are going to become friends. Whereas two parents became friends, and they were so friendly that if they are not getting the call of his word, he used to call, "Arey bhai, aapka beta kya kar raha hai? Ek baar phone usko dene ke liye bolo." That was the thing. It was really fantastic. Everyone appreciated it. Even students, before they enter into the college, they know about their own college. It's not only just showing them these are our facility. It is making aware that belongs to them. That ownership was inculcated in that program. That was really wonderful.
Every now and then a change is required. It can either be done by creating new structures or by rebuilding the old ones. Student Plaza, Block 22 are just some of the few examples and few structures that GK Prabhu has taken for the betterment of the institution.
Each and every project he observes so keenly
that this is the vision that should come up. So such a depth knowledge, not only the knowledge that he gains himself, but he also shares with the team. That is the wonderful quality that I have found in him. He each and explains everything and takes the input. And I have seen many a time, he walking afternoon, evening, late evening, night, early in the morning, and gathers lot of informations. I might have gone through my road many times a day, which I might have not observed. But when we come and sit in a meeting, he used to use the database and use the picture telling that this is what you have not seen. So each and every one in the team are so much energetic to see that, okay, something what director puts on his next meeting, that we also know it. So such a wonderful experience he has given to us, and I think the project whatever that has been taken in this campus from last 2 years, I don't think it would have been possible by his vision, by his observation, and by his involvement to get it done by the team.
With GK Prabhu's own passion for research, he was able to contribute significantly to his area of expertise with a number of quality papers in reputed national and international journals. He was honored with the national accolade Shri Shyamlal Saxena Memorial Award from the National Academy of Medical Sciences for his best published work in Biomedical Engineering in 2007. GK Prabhu's departure from Manipal has left his MIT children and staff a bit sad. But they couldn't be happier at the same time to see their father figure, their mentor, reaching a new height in life. Congratulations, sir. You will be in the people's heart forever.
So for a teacher entering as a lecturer in an institution, reaching to that height, what more a teacher can expect?
Sir, you have been a very amazing person. There is no doubt that you are destined to do much bigger things in life. Please continue to support MIT, which I am sure you are going to do. Thanks a lot for giving me an opportunity to work as your deputy. Thank you.
As engineers, all of us are above average if we have to enter the MIT, but all of us may lack the management skills, but you as a management guru has made all of us to think in terms of being great future leaders. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for everything. We would miss you.
Dr. GK Prabhu, as an individual, he has contributed a lot to the Manipal Group. If somebody asks me, is it sufficient? Because any system should not depend on one particular individual. At the same time, the template what Dr. GK Prabhu has created should reach many people. And my suggestion to Dr. GK Prabhu is, whatever things you have imbibed throughout your professional career, at least identify some set of individuals and create more and more GKP who can really contribute to the growth of Manipal. Thank you.
GK Prabhu, I know you will be successful wherever you go, whichever position you go. You will be successful in that position because your intentions are good. You have the you are a serious worker, whichever position is given to you. I am sure you are an asset to the institution or the university you are working with.
Sir, you are a great human being. I love you.
Sir, it was a wonderful experience to work with you, sir. If God gives me one more opportunity, I would love to work with you, sir. Thank you.